Hey, hello. So this Hosebib here, I'll need to trim around it here, has leaked forever. Anytime you move it, it's almost impossible to get it shut again. So we're going to try to fix that. Today's project is to finish up the Hosebib. So this video is one I've started a couple times, and we're going to get to it, get it all together. So I originally started this, realized the house shutoff wasn't working, so I postponed it until I had more time to work on it. I got it all done on that day, but I've split that into two videos for reasons I explained last week, and then also, I just needed to recover some footage, plus I'm going to have to do some voiceovers to cover up some places where I missed. I've got missing footage. I wasn't, by this time of the day, I was just trying to get done. I wasn't as focused on recording, so I wasn't as careful to make sure I had everything. So there's some things where I'm just, I've got a little bit of video maybe, not actually filming what I wanted it to film. So, a lot of things of just, tools and parts laying on the tailgate, but I'm out of the shot with what I'm doing, things like that. So I'm going to go back in there and try to show a little bit better what I'm doing, explain the things that I can't show any other way. So we will get to that. So here's what the situation is in the basement, and the reason that I'm just trying to repair this, just do a good enough for now sort of repair instead of actually replacing this, which I eventually will need to do. But here's what it looks like down in the basement and why I'm postponing that. Wrestle this around out there. This is the interior for the Hosebib, and you can tell, if I can get this back there, there's no real good way. It's just tying in the regular metal into the copper. Not a clean connection there. Nothing easy to tear apart. So that's why we are repairing. And then here, this is where it is. It's back in behind some shelves and stuff, so certainly not easy to get to either. So now we are back to the outside faucet. Got the water turned off inside, or at least mostly. Now, apparently this whole piece here is broken. No rubber on the end. That's probably why this isn't working. So we will now run out to the store again and see what we can find there. Sink. So here's what I ended up with. It's not exactly the same, but I think I can probably scavenge the parts out of that I need and just reuse the original rod and other fittings. But that does show me I just need to replace that rubber at the end. This that doesn't help us all. So I swapped the pieces of rubber out from the piece that I bought at the store onto the old one, but then I also tried to glue the broken plastic collar back together, and that's what I'm doing here, is checking to see if that had glued properly. Let's see if I get this back in there. Oh, got to approach it close. Get in. All the way back in there. So I figured out the purpose of the white plastic piece is to hold it straight. It only goes in one way. And then that collar on here fits inside there. So I had to rotate that around until it actually meshed and went in. So here, lightly with this big wrench. So break it off. Feels like they're not very tight. Yeah, Let's see if the GoPro gets wet. It comes on. It's off, entirely off without having to stress. So that's something. So after I got it together, I realized that it was still spinning a little too much. I pulled it back apart and realized that the glue I had put on the plastic piece had almost immediately broken again. And realized that wasn't going to be strong enough and didn't really help anyway. So this piece on the end of the faucet, on the knob that has threads, fits in the end of the rod threads, and that's what pushes the rod in and out to seal it. But where it was cracked, those threads were just slipping, and you can see that's a pretty good sized crack there. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to reinforce that. I've got a bit of wire here that I'm going to use to wrap around it, and I just have to be careful not to get that wire so far up that I can't, that the plastic piece won't fit on, because that's necessary in order to keep everything centered the way it needs to be. Got at least that much space. It's functional. Wasn't able to use all the new parts. I just swapped over the rubber out of the new Hosebib fitting, and I have it working to where it seals and it turns on, which is what I needed to do. But obviously that metal rod in there is broken. You can see where the crack is. That just kind of flexes when you're trying to turn the faucet. That's the threads for the handle slip when you're turning it on and off. So I wrapped it with some wire and got that good enough. So I'm not going to let the boys use that handle for now. I'd only restrict that to just me doing it, so because I don't want it to get further messed up. And eventually I'll have to go back and fix this. So this isn't off my to-do list. I'll still have to come back and do it. But it's good enough for now. So that's all for today.